Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Let's go, Scallywags! How y'all doing out there? My Scallywags, nutmeggers, conversationalists, young, old, in between, and of course, you awful haters. It's Reese on the radio, right here live on WTIC News Talk 1080. Pleasure to be here this Thursday. It has been an incredible week with all of you. See, there it goes again. You see how that goes? Volume's up, volume's down. Can't figure it out. I don't know. It's a weird thing. Somebody's messing with my audio here. I couldn't tell you. I don't know where it's coming from, but it's there. Anyway, we'll find a way to figure it out. Thank you, Scallywags, in the chat room. By the way, if you ever want to be a part of the chat room, you can go several places to be a member. All you have to do is start off at reeseontheradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. Now, right there, you can log in. So you could be in the chat room. That's right in front of me. But you could be on YouTube. You could be on X. And you could be on Facebook as well. And if you're on my personal page, Reese Hopkins, you can go there, and I'll see those here. There are some other places that I checked throughout the show, and I'll respond to you as well. But YouTube, that is growing in popularity as far as the Scallywags are concerned. So I want to thank those guys. All of them. OU812, Bad Street, Alex Q, Kelly is joining the program there regularly. Deborah is there, and thank you all. Totally appreciate that. Yeah, you and me both, Deborah. Cannot wait for the president's address this evening. I will be watching with bated breath. Do not bother me at 8:59 p.m. tonight, because I know there's only one person who calls me all hours of the night, and that's my manager. That's Adam 12. He will call me no matter what, for anything. I heard Bob Duff was outside today. I told you not to come outside, boy. And I hear William Tong was out there, too. They were having some press conference. I didn't want to be any part of that. I got better things to do. I think I've beaten up on those guys enough. And at this point, it's like Debo in the beginning of Friday. You know, I don't want to be that guy every time. And it gets gimmicky after a while. And if I'm bored with it, I don't want to do it. I need the important stuff. You know, the governor's out there. If he's having a press conference, if he says something out there a little sideways out his face, I got to be there for that. The governor, that's the big fish right now. William Tong, you know, what's he railing against now about whether or not you can cancel a subscription? Like he's holding a press conference about whether or not you can cancel a subscription to something. Bob Duff is out there. Look at them. Look at them tackling affordability. Because you cannot, easily get out of an online magazine subscription. They're on the job. Look at those guys. It's like 10-speed in brown shoe, these two. Oh, goodness gracious. Hey, that's right. There's my girlfriend there. Maria is in the room. I just want to let you know that it has been a fantastic week and a fun one. Again, I'm not the person that's starting this stuff. You know, all I'm doing is having the interviews. And, it has been said by a few people who I trust, at least I trust in the sense of their point of view on these subjects. And that is, it would be good for people of, let's just say, an opposing view to come on the program with Reese on the radio. Look, I'm no genius. Everything that I know is on the ground level as far as, like, intelligence. I mean, Luke Bronin was here. That guy went to Yale. I can never get into Yale. But, sometimes you can be so smart, and you know how the rest of this goes. But sometimes you can be. And some things are just simple. And I think the success of this show is, in fact, and I told you folks this very early on, that I don't play this game where many in this business say never allow your audience to be smarter than you. There are a lot of people in this business who believe that. There are a lot of people in this business who can't stop telling you how smart they are. Oh, goodness. I mean, how worldly they are, how traveled they are, the places they've been, the things I've done. Those people. I don't come at that, not because, I have anything against those who have done all of those things. More power to them. But when you start to use those things as the reason why you're smarter than everybody else, you see, I know because I've done this. I know these guys. Have you ever been to such and such? Have you ever been? Have you ever gone? Have you ever seen? Have you ever done? So therefore, they're the authority. So common sense plays no role. Right? Human nature just doesn't play any role because you haven't been, you haven't done, you haven't seen. And I look at these guys and I just go, yeah, but what about this? There's this amazing guy who's online. He's an African guy who's probably one of the most viewed TikTok guys. Roland, I know you know who this guy is. You may not remember his name. Roland, come on the mic real quick for me. Do you know the guy who's famous on TikTok or this Instagram thing where first he'll show a video of somebody doing something extremely complicated, and he's this African guy, very skinny, he's got a very funny face, and then he does the most simplest thing to explain it.
He sold his stuff for $600 million.
He sold his whole
platform
for $600 million. He became a billionaire behind it. And in fact, there was an issue where he got deported or something like that, right?
I don't know about his personal.
I know, but you remember.
I watch a bunch of his TikToks.
Right, because they're very, and again, the reason why they're so funny is because, one, they're quick, and in essence, it just breaks down some of the most complex stuff, and it's done in a simple way.
Without
and it's
saying
funny,
a word.
Without saying a word. He just illustrates. It doesn't have to be that crazy. It doesn't have to be, it's not as complicated as you think, so to speak. But you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember the kid's name. If you do find it, just let me know the guy's name. But he still does the videos now and again. And, okay, good. You know what? Leave it to this brilliant audience. His name is Kabi Lame. That's his name. That's right. Kabi Lame. Thank you, White Mike. Again, brilliant. That's the way I look at this stuff. I hear all of these people screaming all the big words and the complicated this and that. And I go, yeah, but couldn't we just push that button? Yeah, theoretically, we could push that button, but there's so many other things that we have to do. I'm like, just push that button. And I want it explained to me in that way. Please stop complicating things. All these people who know all the stuff. You're not going to understand this because, it's a little over your head. Okay, I know how a wallet works. I know how a budget works. I know you can't spend more than you have. Do I really need to have an economic background to figure this out? Like this, for some odd reason, this just sounds, and I'm looking at these people while they're trying to explain all of this stuff, I say, with air quotations, that they know better than the rest of us. And I'm just going, and maybe it's my daring spirit. Maybe there's a part of me that just says, yeah, I don't really think you're that smart, dude. I think that's all for show. Smart people really don't have to flex that muscle. It's just there. I know some people who are incredibly intelligent, and I'm fascinated by them because it doesn't come off as like an air, right? It's just who they are. And they'll be talking, I'm just like, dude, I didn't even think that. He's like, yeah, and they're almost as intrigued by your sense of wonder or enlightenment as they are, right? They're engaging. When you hear something, but what about this and blah, 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 and they're just like, yeah, that's a great idea too. Those people who wish to exchange ideas even when they disagree, hadn't thought of that. I always hearken back to my relationship with Roseanne when we first got together. Here's a person who's ideologically different from me, right? She's a Black Lives Matter, pro-abortion, feminist, a women's movement, LGBTQ, sympathizer. And I come on the other end, to the right of Rush Limbaugh and Ronald Reagan. And the only thing I did was different, probably because I was trying to quarter, was just listen. I didn't come off as just saying, yes, little women. Yes, I understand your emotions are involved. Yes, absolutely. But let me tell you what it's really like, dear. No, I understand. Yeah, no, I get it. Yes, you're going to cry. Hold on. But listen, documented evidence suggests I didn't do any of that. I just went, okay, all right, well, explain to me how you come. And it wasn't condescending. And the fact that I could do that immediately said, wow, somebody really interested in my point of view is not trying to make me feel dumb for having this. I was like, no, I disagree with you, but why do I have to make you feel horrible because I disagree? I want to be intrigued by more. Do I want to argue with you? Yes, I like arguing with you, but I want to have a good time doing it. And, we rib each other and kind of break each other's, cojones while we're doing it, kind of joshing each other, not taking anything personal, getting thick-skinned, so to speak. Yeah, all the more fun. We did. The rest of these folks come in here, and I know the attitude. You immediately hear it. If you were seeing behind the scenes when Bronin sat here, there was this sort of behavior. It was like, I know you're here to get me. I know you're here to insult me or to make me look crazy. So I'm on the defensive. The part that made me laugh is in the middle of this conversation as we're talking, if you'll notice, watch the video again. He and I are going back and forth, and when he makes comments like, this conversation is absurd, he looks at his assistant, who's probably like, he's a young 20-something. I don't want to insult the kid, because I was going to call him 12, but he's a young kid. He looks at him, he's like, this is absurd. And then, as soon as it happened, and I'm going to tell you this, folks, this is some inside baseball stuff. I don't need to tell you this. But this is a weakness in insecure and not very confident people. With the exception of his assistant, his scheduler, as he referred to him, sitting in this room, it was just Luke Bronin and I. There were no assistants all over the place. So as he's having that exchange with me, anytime I made him feel uncomfortable, or when he didn't want to answer a question, when he said things like, this whole thing is absurd. Like, I don't even know why we're going down this rabbit hole. He turned his attention to his assistant to look at them, not to bail him out. No. For confirmation. When someone who is above the fray, smarter than everyone, but not exactly sure of themselves, they need an out. They need confirmation. So they look at a person who's there, an ally, so the ally can nod to them. No, you're doing fine. You're okay. Yes. I understand you. I do. So he doesn't lose focus. He will never continue to look at me because he's being challenged. He's being stared down. The entire time we're doing this interview, I'm staring at him until he starts filibustering, to which I, as I do, fade off in the eyesight game. I turn away. Watch the video again. I fade away, and I just nod. Yeah, okay. Yep. I'm listening. Yep. All right. Okay. That's the tactic. Now he's got to over-explain. He's lost my interest. I'm not engaging with him anymore. I've already beat him. He knows it, and now he's salvaging anything he has. Sorry, Luke, I know you're listening, but this will help you out in the future whenever you're having a conversation with another person who might be adversarial. You know what I mean? Okay, trying to help you out. There's no hidden trick. I'm Penn and Teller here. I'm telling you how the trick is done. This has been a tactic of mine for a lot of years. I've literally mastered it. Mastered it. I watch the way everybody else does interviews, and I hate it every time. I've mastered the interview style. At least this one. So when I'm talking to you and I'm looking at you and I'm challenging you, first of all, I'm not afraid of your intellect. Okay? I'm a high school dropout. I'm a dodo. I don't pretend to be smarter than anyone else. Not trying to be. I don't have an ego there. I just know what I know. And I'm interested in knowing. You knew it all. And when you say things like when someone's asking you a simple question about Civics 101 and you say this is absurd, and everyone else who's watching that says the same thing, you think about the exchange. Just go online. Tell your team to go online and watch that video. After watching that video, and read the comments to what everyone's saying. Again, me, no Yale, no Harvard, no nada. And you were beaten. But not by me, by you. You literally beat yourself because you didn't understand the basic tenets of this job, representing the people. You decided on your own what was best for them. When we come back, you may not have noticed it, but I sure did. Luke Bronin contradicted every Democrat known to man who has an issue with Donald Trump's leadership. I've already posted it online, so if you want to get a good look at it, just go on my X page and both my Facebook's pages, and you'll see it yourself. In making his own case that he is the decider once he is elected, he made an argument for Donald Trump. Go watch it. We'll play the audio when we return. Stand by. More Reese on the radio.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
I want to thank the good people over at P&G Firearms providing today's T-shirt. Like I said, if you have a T-shirt and you want to bring it on down here, please send it to 10 Executive Drive in Farmington, Connecticut. And what is our zip code? 06032? It's got to be it. 06032. It's got to be. It's got to be. It's too small. It's too small of a town to be two different ones. Just to send it to WTIC, attention, Reese on the radio. Remember that it must have at least a shirt or a hoodie for Roland. He is 2XL, and I'm just a large. I like fitting like a, sausage in my T-shirt, and I want to thank them. It is. Thank you, Lori. Lori's like 06032. That's right. There's only one. I also want to give a shout out to, thanks to Lori, who is the official research department of Reese on the Radio. She informs me to give a shout out to Elaine in Southington. They were getting some car work done, or at least it was an appraisal. Yes, an appraisal on some vehicles. And there was a Luke Bronin commercial that came on the television, and a woman overheard them and mentioned Luke Bronin being on this very program. And they introduced themselves, and they had a nice conversation. So Elaine in Southington, Lori said I should say hello to you. So there you go. And thank you for, of course, supporting the Reese on the Radio program. It's always important to make sure that we let you know that. Anyway, I want to play this because in this exchange with Luke Bronin, a little nugget came out of it. And remember, this is a theme from Democrats far and wide about Donald J. Trump. The president is unilaterally doing whatever he wants. He's lawless, they say. Lawless. Christoph Murphy is one of the first people to tell you that. And again, this little nugget is so emblematic of the selective outrage of these individuals. You see, Luke Bronin, in making his case as to why he governs without you, without your consent, he brought up a position he's not running for. That is the position of President of the United States. And of course, you're not supposed to argue with presidents of the past. You can't argue Abraham Lincoln. You can't argue George Washington. You can't argue John F. Kennedy. These men are pillars of our society. Presidents today can barely stand next to these men. And Luke Bronin making a case. I can govern without the consent of the people. FDR did the same thing.
Throughout our history, there have been many times when our elected representatives have faced challenges and had to use their judgment and maybe sometimes make unpopular decisions that prove to be the right ones in the long run. If you had asked the American people in advance of World War II whether the United States should begin preparing to support Europe to defeat the Nazis through the Lend-Lease, and they understood the scale of our efforts to support, a lot of people would have been opposed to that. But Roosevelt had the foresight to understand the threat that was coming, and he used his judgment to prepare our country and our allies for the threat that was coming.
Couldn't that argument be made with Donald Trump in the war in Iran? I mean, it's literally the same exact argument, right? President had the foresight to stop a threat. Yes? Yes, of course. Absolutely. So again, in an argument trying to defend what would have to be described as a monarchy-like behavior on his part, his best judgment to govern you, he applied it to the presidency. Which in essence, you have to make the hard decisions that many people may have been unpopular. I was talking to a journalist a little while, he actually made the same thing. He's like, yeah, you also have to remember another move that FDR made that may not have been very popular. Internment camps. Not that I'm applauding internment camps. I'm applauding the fact that he made an unpopular decision, right? Unilaterally. Same thing can be said for immigration. N'est-ce pas? Yes, pa. I'm just saying it. I'm just saying what's obvious. Okay? It's a dumb argument for him to make about himself using the President of the United States, but again, only giving license to the President of the United States in doing so. Not recognizing, not reading the room. Didn't think anyone would notice. And again, it's there for everyone to see. That's why I made a piece on it. That's why you can find it on my Facebook and X page. Please like it and share it. Let the world know. Democrats are very selective about who can use unilateral power and win. Yesterday, if you did not hear on the show, his opponent, John Larson, even took a clip from the show about Luke Bronin. I mean, again, a worthless clip, I might add, of Luke Bronin saying that $250,000 a year is not a lot of money, which John Larson said, wow, look at this elite Greenwich type out here saying that $250,000 is not a lot of money. Instead of everything else that was on there, probably because they agree with half the stuff he said. They didn't want to actually show any light on that. So I was like, oh, that's weird that John Larson would use clips. But you know what? Not to be outdone. We understand that Luke Bronin's team has also made use of the clips that we have been posting online. And I guess his team is very young and savvy. They may be concerned about people in the inner city who may have watched that video clip. We had Jendayi Scott here on the program, and there are some people who in the inner city, black folks who were kind of upset about what Luke Bronin said about representing them, or in that matter, not representing them. So we hear that his team has decided to appease that constituency, that demographic, and they found a way to address the issue. Turns out that they developed a campaign song out of our exchange. I got wind of it and someone sent it to me, and apparently the song is called Luke Knows? So you do the bidding of the people you represent, yes?
Oh, no, I think that people who are elected to office have a responsibility to do the right thing as they see it.
Wait a minute. What's the word representative in front of this title for?
Luke said, I hear you, Hartford. Then he looked right past the door. You said, take a little from us. He said, I know a little more. He wore that suit like armor, smiled like he had read your mind. You asked for what you wanted. He said, baby, I'll decide. He don't need a ballad chorus. He don't need your point of view. He got a suitcase full of answers and a one-man interview. Luke know what's good for you. Luke know just what to do. Luke know put your pride aside. Luke know he's the one who decides. Luke know what's good for you. What's good for you? Luke know just what to do. Just what to do. Luke know put your pride aside. Luke know he's the one who decides. Now he's talking Washington like he's already in the chair, saying I won't serve your wishes. I will go and work up there. I don't really represent what your interests say they are. That's a bold little sermon from the driver of the car. You said, Luke, that's kind of wild. He said, wild is why I'm here, like a boss in the boardroom with a smiling zero fear. You can raise your hand and holler, he'll just nod and keep it cool. He's got that private kind of wisdom that makes everybody a fool. Luke know what's good for you, what's good for you. Luke know just what to do, just what to do. Luke know put your pride aside. Luke know he's the one who decides. Luke know what's good for you, what's good for you. Luke know just what to do, just what to do. Luke know put your pride aside. Luke know he's the one who decides. Maybe he can map your future with a marker and a grin. Maybe every single answer fits the question that he's in. But if you ask for representation and he gave you attitude, that's not compromise, that's just a very fancy little move. Luke know what's good for you. Luke know just what to do. Luke know put your pride aside. Luke know he's the one who decides. Luke know what's good for you. Luke know just what to do, just what to do. Luke know put your pride aside. Luke know he's the one who decides. Yeah, Luke knows. He really, really knows. Ask Hartford. He already chose.
Luke Knows, ladies and gentlemen, available on Reese on the Radio Records and Tapes. 99 cents. We'll take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views. We'll make that song available for you later on today. Luke knows just what to do. I was thinking about it all night, and I said to myself, this is actually going to be good. Bob J says, you got DJ skills. Are you available for hire? Yes, absolutely. It's $1,000 right out the gate. Playbacks are inaudible. Tom, you gotta help me with where you are on that and tell me if, put in the, in the chat room here where you are going to listen, and I'll make sure that you can hear, all of the audio from the show. We got people, maintenance. It's weird, man. Maintenance people in the building listen to the show. People like everywhere say that they listen to the show, and you'll be walking somewhere in the mall or whatever, and people be shouting at you. I got to tell you, folks, I love you. Thank you so much. I don't think radio has ever been this popular, but I love it. Thank you so much, and I'm glad that you're making me a part of it. We'll take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views when we return. It's Reese on the Radio.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Yeah, I just heard that somebody was listening on the streaming app, and it's going very low. I think Roland is actually telling me, he said he sounds really, really low here. There is something going on with this button right here. Joey and I were beating on it yesterday. He had the Fonzie the thing that some days it's up and the volume will go straight through the roof, and then other times it's completely down. So I think there's a short somewhere in here, because I will listen to it in the studio before I do the show, and I don't really do rehearsals beforehand, which maybe I should, but I'll listen to it inside, and I'm like, no, the audio sounds perfect. However, when I'm on live, when the system goes live and I'm to you, whatever that audio signal is demonstrably lower than usual. But don't worry, we'll fix it. I'm sure they will. And we'll get all of that stuff. So just didn't know if you knew. Thank you, Dean. And thank you, the Eanes. We miss you guys. Yeah, Stevie says I can hear it loud and clear. The difference is somebody's listening to streaming versus Facebook or YouTube. I just went to listen on YouTube. I've scrolled back to listen to it, and the audio was fine. So again, like I said, it's not you, it's not the system. It's something I can't control. I apologize. Also, later on in the program, we have Peter Lumaj, who is going to be joining us. See, now it's loud. Why? Because I beat see? Look at that. See that? It's weird, right? Yeah. That's my life. Peter Lumaj is going to be here, and a second part of our interview with Jendayi Scott, who revealed yesterday some very, very scathing news as it relates to the money that's being investigated with Doug McCrory. And this money is, of course, it's like $14-15 million that was allocated or given by the state to go to these organizations with these people. And now there's something in and around the area of $500 or $300 to $500,000. And according to the story, Jendayi told us yesterday, just as a recap, she was looking for money from the state, and she will go to ask these legislators for her charity, Angel of Edgewood, for things so that she can feed and clothe and house needy folks. And she understands that in order for her to survive, she needs fundraising. She is a nonprofit. And sometimes you have to go to the state for money. And these are the investments, as they say, right? So she ends up to ask for money by legislators, and a person she had not dealt with, and in her case, refused to deal with, was Doug McCrory. Why? Simple. If you didn't hear yesterday, Jendayi does not fool around with these so-called civil rightsers, because she is incredibly upset about the non-attention given to black-on-black crimes and people seeming to be getting involved with situations when they involve a profit. But they never seem to show up at locations or at events that involve her and people she's actually trying to help. So she's fed up with that. So when she asked people, she asked to talk to real legislators who wish to help her. Doug McCrory all of a sudden starts saying, what you down here for? How can I help you? And she's like, look, here's my situation, and I'm trying to get fundraising, get somebody to give us some money so we can rent this facility while our building's being refurbished, I guess, for lack of a better word. And he offers her $10,000, according to her. But in order to do it, and she was there, she was present, she heard him call the folks over at Blue Hills, which is a charity that he got money for. And he asked them to send that money to her organization, which, again, is a red flag. That when you usually go and ask for money, it is appropriated from the city's fund, wherever it may be, but it is unheard of for money to go from one charity to another charity because, again, there are checks and balances. If this money goes to Blue Hills and then you send that money to Angel of Edgewood, that's not a paper trail, ladies and gentlemen. And, again, that's not what it's allocated for. So, therefore, creates a scandal. And Jendayi, as she reports, and I've seen the evidence, she was hauled in by the feds. She showed me the pictures. Yeah. I watched them. I looked at them right here. I also saw some other evidence. Now, I will not get ahead of the FBI's investigation. Let's just say that. So, and as she likes to say, it's like she doesn't just talk a good game. She gets receipts. And she is currently talking to Mark from West Hartford from Mark Walsh Reports. And you can forget about it then because you know him. He's a dog with a bone. And he's got an axe to grind because he's got years of angst when it comes to the corruption in Hartford and the state of Connecticut overall. And boy, did I hook those two people up because they are right now. I mean, I'm telling you, Mark was salivating. I've never heard Mark call me and say, hey, I need that telephone number now. And I said, okay, let me get it to him. And they've already spoken for an hour and a half. And they will continue to talk. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I'm so lucky. I'm just so lucky. I'm in the perfect place. Go get him, Mark. We'll be back. More news, more views, shocking information coming out of DCF. We'll talk about that when we return. Stand by.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
I'll tell you, the thing about flying by the seat of your pants radio, which again, there are a lot of people that just like it's strict. Usually when the audio doesn't do well or the clip doesn't play, a radio host will be back here and be screaming, well, just do it live! Just do it live! Like the Bill O'Reilly outburst. I don't do any of that. It's like you can't control that stuff. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And I don't look, and a lot of people have asked me this before. Like, why don't you just have Roland play it on a million? I don't need Roland to do that. Roland's got enough stuff to do. Like, he's literally got more stuff than he's supposed to do. I play my clips directly from here, like I have them prepared, because they follow my flow. I don't want to be like, and then he said this, play 7. Like, no. Like, I like the natural flow of things as I'm doing it. It's like, and I have this little box here that just plays the clips. Just press a button and it's right there. And it's on cue. Right? When I say, and Luke Broden says this, clip plays. That's simple. So, for those of you who didn't get to hear the song, Luke Knows, we're going to play it again after 3:50, okay? After 50 minutes. When we go take that break at 3:50, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we will play the song for you so you can hear it in its entirety. Again, Luke Knows. It's actually called Luke Knows What's Good for You. About his stellar and amazing conversation with yours truly, right here on the program. Many people are suggesting that more Democrats will not come as a result, but I doubt that. And if I can explain why, human nature works like this, and some of you know someone like this, and you have to start thinking of who you know, political figure, who has these characteristics. So there are some that'll see that interview and go, yeah, I'm not doing that guy's show. he's not going to catch me slipping. Like, why would I go there? And so, only embarrass myself if I go there. So they'll be very cautious. And then there'll be the other politician who will be like, the reason why he got Bronin is because he's not smart enough. See, he didn't go in there thinking. You see, you got to go in there thinking. You got to know what the guy does and what the kind of things that he'll ask you. You got to go in there prepared. And that person will be eager. It's like, oh, yeah, I'll come in. It's like going through the gauntlet, It's like being at the Coliseum. I can beat the monster. And in that case, I just go, come on, okay, come on. I am absolutely encouraged by folks wanting to come. Think about it. You can end up being like Sean Scanlon. I mention him all the time. Disagree with the guy, but I couldn't help but like him. And I do. I like everybody. This show has never been about hating anyone because they're a Democrat or a leftist or a progressive. Hell, even a socialist came in here and wanted me to give him a hug. And again, I'm to the right of Rush Limbaugh. And by the end of the conversation, that guy was hugging me. Okay? He's to the left of Rosa DeLauro. And when it was over, he was like, can I get a hug? Now, I'm not going to lie. I'm a very attractive man. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. But anyway, so, of course you can come on. You can have a great time here. It's a fun and interesting conversation. I'm here to, of course I want to address some of the things or many of the things that the audience and the people who live here care about. But if you come in here with your shoulders up and your back up, ready for a brawl, I'll give you what you asked for. We invited you. You took the offer. Yeah, come on in. But be relaxed. But if you come in with this preconceived notion, I'm going to surprise you every time. I'm sitting there with my war chest too. So anyway, I'm glad. I'm glad it happened. Mandrick says, Reese, the Democrats are used to being doormats for the media, or having doormats for the media. Yes. And again, this is something that I try to express to a lot of people who talk to me in private. And they go, I don't know how you do it, Reese. How is this happening to you? And Mark said something to me that blew my mind. He corrected me, but in a favorable way. He says to me after I did a monologue, you might remember it earlier in the week, I was talking about people calling me a shock jock. And I went, yeah, okay, whatever. You're angry at me because I go out to press conferences and because I confront the governor and other politicians and I ask them the questions that they won't come on the show and ask. And so that's been deemed as being a shock jock, right? So I'm a gimmick now. Okay, whatever. I'm a gimmick. Which only to me, I look at that and go, yes, thank you for talking about me. Yes, thank you for finding issue with what I do. I appreciate it. The flattery is overwhelming. Thank you. I appreciate it. Please keep my name in your mouth. Please tell your audience how much you don't like this show. I'm sure your distaste for this show will only invite them to it. Keep talking about it. I encourage you. I tell them all the time, keep promoting me. I love it. But in that, I was saying, look, the reason why these politicians are caught flat-footed, I said, because it's been a long time since anyone has ever held their feet to the fire. Anyone's ever asked them an important, if not probing, questions about their point of view and have not been stenographers. And Mark calls me and he says, I got to correct you on your opening monologue. And I'm like, what? And I'm immediately getting nervous. I'm like, what did I say was wrong? I was like, I thought I was pretty on point. He goes, you said that it's been a long time since anyone's ever pushed these guys. Dude, they never have. There's never been anybody to do that. Now, again, I find that hard to believe. Kudos if so. I find that hard to believe. It would be stunning to think that there is no one in the state of Connecticut who has ever been a reporter in the media who has not pushed hard against some of the status quo rhetoric that's being shared in this political space. Again, I would be hard, but it's got to be somebody. I just refuse to think I'm one of a kind. Sorry, I just don't. Maybe I don't even want those accolades. There's a part of me that's just kind of embarrassed by that. Like, I'm the first one? I don't want to be the first one. I don't. I mean that. I don't want to be the first one. Like, I'll be the second, but I want to be the guy. Because then everybody's comparing it to me. And then it's about whether or not I slipped. I was like, yeah, I don't know. But yes, absolutely. Have they had a comfortable run? Yes. When I got here, they were getting a comfortable run. I would show up at these places and it was just cameras, no reporters. Just cameras. Hearing the subject say any questions and no one having one. And then piecemeal, maybe a reporter here, maybe a reporter there. Connecticut Mirror would come in and they'd ask the same question every time. So the money. How do we get the money? Where's the money coming from? Is always a financial question. I ribbed them. I said, thank you guys for coming in and asking about money. But there's no other reporters there. Then I start seeing Susan Raff. Then I start seeing Mike Sorelli. Then all of a sudden I start seeing other reporters. Like, oh, wait a minute, what's happening? Oh, it's an election year. Okay, all right. It's the hot season now. I was like, okay. So all I did was just say, I've got to do something I'm not seeing and you're not seeing. And now I understand why, because again, when I was showing up there, no one was there. And what did I do? I figured I can't be everywhere. I've got to start getting other people there. So now, retired firefighter Mark from West Hartford. Sam, the man on the street. Adam 12. Pay very close attention to those three individuals. A little less than Adam 12. He's got to manage me, but he's going out there as well. But pay very close attention to those individuals. Mike Ortiz, Johnny Cruz, DM Livingston, Eddie Torres. The media landscape is about to change dramatically. Dramatically. Because there are people out there who do the job. But then there are people out there who do not. And when you create that opening, that big of a gap, where no one is covering anything and you're just throwing in the cameras for whatever reason, because you're saying to yourself, I don't have the money. We don't have the finances for that. We can't pay someone to be at those things. These scrappy individuals are doing it for pennies. You want to know why? Because they're hungry. And that's the worst thing for these media conglomerates, if you will. They're not hungry. They're trying to save money. These guys are trying to earn it. There's a difference. I tell you, every one of those guys I just named, when I say they're hungry, they're hungry. Boy, are they hungry. And they want to get to the story. They're paying their own, they're buying their own gas, and they're driving out there early, and they're standing there, and they're ready to go. All they want is guidance. Hey, I'm going to be there. What you want me to ask? Hey, I'm going to be there. What you want me to ask for this one? Oh, man, I can't wait to get there. I got this. I'll get you the footage. I'll get it there. Hungry. The rest of you guys, you missed the boat on it. Listen to me, don't let these guys steal your thunder. Nah, I'm kidding. They're going to steal your thunder. They are. They're going to take it all. And I mean it, folks. They're going to take it. And you got nothing. I mean, there's nothing you could do about it. These guys are going to steal your lunch and eat it right in front of you. And if I may say so, I'm going to teach them how. I'm going to teach them how. I'm going to tell them exactly where to go, what to cover, what to ask. They already know how to monetize it. Once I get a hold of them, and I do, I've got a hold of them. They're going to be in all the places that you refuse to go. You'll be like Hillary in 2016. And they are going to make it rain for them. And they'll be the only game in town. They'll be getting their news from a bunch of upstarts. Oh, it's going to be glorious. I'm telling you, it's going to be glorious. Let me go to, I'm going to take Lori. How we doing, Lori? What's going on?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. I wanted to let you know that interview with Bronan was absolutely masterful.
Thank you.
It was very easy to see how nervous he was.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just so obvious when you were watching it on YouTube, watching the video. But I cannot wait to hear the rest of Jendayi.
Jendayi, like Zendaya, yeah.
Sorry, I'm making her name more biblical than it is. But that was absolutely fascinating, and I can't wait to hear the rest of that. And I know your accolades embarrass you, and you're just going to have to suck it up because I'm going to give you one.
Okay.
I know I've said it before, and I know I speak for so much of your audience. I'm so grateful that you and Roseanne came to Connecticut. It was definitely the Lord that led you here, and I can't wait for everything to radically change because your presence has been here, and you've lit a fire under all of our butts. And I haven't reached out too much because I haven't wanted to bother you and Roseanne on getting together. You guys are so busy, but I'm just so grateful, and I don't say it enough. So I just wanted to say that to you.
Thank you, Lori. And by the way, we are never too busy for any of you. Never.
Oh.
We really, I mean that. We're never too busy for any of you. And I said it from the beginning to the end. You guys, we are not here if not for you. We are not, this show isn't a success if not for you. So I know we're busy, and that will never be. I never want to be too far away from any of you. Please know that. I had to go to a meeting yesterday and say that. It's like I'm working so hard because I want to be so good at what I do, because I feel like I don't want to lose the opportunity that I have, and I don't want to ever lose your trust and your loyalty because I am loyal to you. And in that, I may tend to lose focus on what's important. I have to pay attention to my sobriety first. My sobriety is important, but sometimes, like yesterday, I forgot that I had to be at my meeting. It's my meeting, and I was late for it. Why? Because I was sitting and I was working at my desk. And even though an hour before I said I knew I had to get to the meeting, I got so lost in it, I did. But that's my dedication to what I do here. So don't ever think you ever want to hang out. We will find time. I tell everybody here, we will find time to give you. That's why we're doing these events. We're trying to right now we're working on a movie event so people can come and be with us because we want to be with you. We love you guys. We mean that. It's not just something that you say when it comes to us. We feel that. And you express that and show it to us every day online, the comments you leave us, the phone calls we get. We love you. We really, really do.
Well, and you are much loved back. And I just want to encourage you too. I believe God's going to really honor everything that it is that you're doing. He's put you here for a reason, and he's going to honor everything that you're doing. He's going to give you favor with everybody that you talk with. And I just know that you and Roseanne are in my prayers.
Thank you. Really appreciate you, Lori.
Take care, sir.
You got it. Bye-bye. Robert is in Simsbury. I knew that name. How you doing, Robert?
I am terrific, Reese. How are you today?
I'm great. Robert, did you send me the email yesterday or this morning?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I did get it. How are you, sir?
I'm great. Two quick things. First of all, Mark is correct. Nobody's pushed these guys. Nobody. That's number one. Number two, going back to your show 4 or 5 days ago, people hating Connecticut and whatnot. I'm 72 years young, born and raised in this state, worked in politics all my life. The only thing I hate about this state is the politics.
Right.
And now, sir, we have a spokesperson for us. We have a representative. We have a leader in you. And again, I'm an old guy. I don't blow smoke. And I'm just saying it like it is. We are just lucky to have you. And God bless you and Roseanne. Final point. Adam Dwell was right. When you were in the green New Haven a couple weeks ago, whatever, that was the Smurf in that car with that motorcade. That egomaniac, it had to be him. So So
you really believe, you're like Adam 12. You really believe that he drove off. He's like, damn it, Reese is there.
Who else could it have been? Who could it have been? Everybody else was there.
That's true. That's true.
All right, my brother.
Thank you, buddy.
My brother, you take care.
You got it, man. By the way, I'll read the email later on. I promise I'll get back to you.
Yes, sir.
You got it. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know what to make of all of that. I can't help you. Let me get to Bob in Middletown real quick. Bob, what's up?
Hey, Reese. I just want to thank you and Roseanne. You guys done more research in journalism than the top 5 news coverage. I'm just wondering if you and Roseanne can find out how much the state is spending on drug addicts to keep them on drugs like Suboxone and methadone, and then we're buying them new teeth at about $26,000 a pop.
Holy moly!
Yeah.
You know what?
Dig into this a little more.
Roseanne is going to be here at 4:00 because she's running some errands. But when she gets here, I will get her on that because with the exception of Lori, Roseanne loves that kind of work. I will have that answer for you. I'll get her at the bottom of that one.
Thank you, sir.
You got it. Thank you.
Take care, brother.
You got it. All right, we'll take a break. Bill, I promise I'll get back to you the other side of the hour. I want to ask this question in the next half hour. This is kind of an important question. Do you believe, or are you beginning to believe, that there are people who wish to make nationalism a crime? Like loving your country a crime? Because I've heard it a lot. People using terms like xenophobia and everything under the sun, which would almost be ignored if you're Brazilian and you come into America and you wave your Brazilian flag, no problem. Palestinian flags anywhere and everywhere. But the American flag is always deemed as a threat. Sonny Host in Houston on The View, saying that when she sees that, she sees the symbol of America, the American flag, as, antagonizing and threatening. I want to know if you think that nationalism is at the verge of becoming criminal. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. We'll take a break. We'll come back with you when we return. It's Reese on the Radio.
Spider-Man. Hey, he's your friendly neighborhood Reese on the radio. Right now on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We're back. Reese on the Radio. I was asking the question before the break, if whether or not nationalism is sort of looked upon by many people in this country as if it should be criminalized. What I mean by that is there was a story a couple of days ago that I wanted to get into, and I think it's this Patriot Front group, whatever it is, and I don't know what the reality of this organization is, whether or not they're, some BS front group, or I don't know anything about them. I really don't care. But anyway, so apparently in one town there were these signs that said, "Deport all illegals." And there was an investigation into who posted it, or who had posted these signs. And I guess it was because of the fact that it was a part of this group that it needed to be investigated. But I kept looking at the actual line, "Deport all illegals." Why would that need a criminal investigation? Like, again, it bothered me in the sense of, what was the crime? Like, I understand you calling the police. Police are considering, and that, by the way, let me be very clear. The police were considering an investigation. And I'm going, the police are considering an investigation into a free speech issue? Let me help you out, law enforcement. Get to other things. I wouldn't even give the person who complained a bone on this one. I would say, like, if a woman had walked in, a man even, had walked into my precinct or police station with that sign and said, "Do you see this? Who's leaving this? We need an investigation." I would have looked at her and went, "I'm sorry, the problem with this sign is what?" It says "Deport illegals." Yeah, meaning that someone is obviously here illegally. Yeah, there's a criminal statute. You know? Yeah, that's actually a thing. But to say that you were reporting that as a potential hate crime blew my mind. And I couldn't help but associate it to Sunny host in Houston on The View, suggesting that she saw a flags in a neighborhood and she was immediately, losing her crap about it. She found because of the way they weaponized it, that she now is afraid of the American flag, that if somebody is flying it. Like, the weird part is, remember when everybody had to get rid of the Confederate flag? And I told everybody that Confederate flag thing is going to lead to something else, because then you can say that anything is offensive. And here we are. Marcia Gay from the New York Times, she was on Your Morning Joke saying the exact same thing many years ago, just after 2020, said she was in the Hamptons, sister girl in the Hamptons for the 4th of July weekend, saying that when she sees the American flag being flown on America's birthday, triggered. What? And here we are. So is nationalism now going to be a crime? Supporting your country is going to be a crime. Hey, you know, we just had the 4th of July, the 250th anniversary, going down to D.C., myself, Rob Sampson. All of a sudden, people here in Connecticut, I don't want to go down there, blah, 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 represents this. Couldn't see it. Celebrating America's birthday became an affront to, be an American, weirdly. So I'm just wondering if that's what they want. Let's take a few calls. Kim from Cromwell, love it when she calls. How are you?
Good. I want to comment on Bronin. He appeared very not sure-footed.
Yes.
In the interview. I didn't know he was a progressive. I thought he was a decent mayor. I think what bothered me is he's running because, and this is the tendency with a lot of politicians today, is they want to do their vision of what the country should be.
Indeed.
And we go along for the ride. Now, granted, we're not going to agree or disagree on everything. I understand that, okay? But it's like he's a progressive, and he is almost like saying, you know, I think the transgender thing, these kids should be able to compete and whatever. Because it's being neighborly, it's having an inclusive society,
right,
and stuff. Okay, but it's really against the norm of society,
right?
Tradition, not to mention other things. But so he would say his view on that. So if I threw something like this on him, okay, we look at education today, and why not try something different in the inner city schools? And we're trying these things like vouchers and charter schools. Man,
right.
You know, you put out a market. Okay, let's try something different and increase the options. And I imagine his comeback would say, oh, that's not really progress. See, I've got to represent the teacher.
Yeah.
So that's just not going to float. So it's inconsistent.
But it wasn't, Kim, was it? Was my back and forth with him, was I being... I'll put it this way. Was it difficult for any average Joe or politician, person running for office, to answer? Did you get the sense that he was twisted in a pretzel in answering? Because all I was just saying was, I almost felt like, and I almost feel like this is a sentiment for every average individual, that the role of being a representative, a U.S. House representative, was actually doing the thing that the people you represent sort of applauded. Not that you would go there and say, hey, I'm going to do this, and then having done it, and then tell them, see, I did this for you. And they go...
Right. That's exactly where our country is right now. And one of the deficiencies in the republic is we get a lot of people, you know, they follow the civics and this and that,
right,
and they say, I'm going to run for office. The challenge with being a representative is that you want to meld together all the ideas
right
of the people and consider the country at large into something that you could put into law.
Right.
Okay? And it's never going to be 100% in anybody's direction.
Right.
Okay? But that's what makes that branch so difficult is you should not run for office if you cannot do that. If your goal is, I want to lead the country in what my vision is, the legislative branch is really not for you.
Right.
And this is the problem. All these people, and we've seen it now for quite a few years, is they're running and they like to get up and brag that they did this for people and this for people, and they don't really understand the process they're in having participated. You know, anybody who mentions brings up a bill, it doesn't mean the bill gets drafted, gets a hearing, goes to a vote. They play all sorts of games up there to block legislation or to put it forward. It really doesn't encompass most of the people there. Is you would basically have to survey, send out a poll. Okay, folks, chime in now so I can get an idea. We have a bill coming up. I want to see what you all think. It doesn't work that way anymore.
Yes, and although it should, though, we are saying that it should, right? Yes, okay, that's the only thing I'm saying. Kim, let me get to some others before I have to go to a break, but thank you, as always. Let me go to, I'll chime in. Why not? Why Mike is on the line? I know this is right up your alley, sir. Is nationalism are they trying to criminalize it?
No, only in the West, only in white and successful Asian countries. Yeah.
In successful Asian countries, are they trying to outlaw nationalism?
The international community is furious at Japan for wanting to maintain its nationalism.
Right. Okay.
The new Japanese PM said Muslims can't even be buried in Japan. She said, take your carcass elsewhere.
Wow, really?
Yes. But I kind of want to talk about something else, man. This subject is, I need to be less serious for a little bit, okay?
Oh, I don't have the time. Can you do it in 2 minutes?
Yeah, I'm about to become an LA basketball sports fan in both basketball leagues because the new owner, Robert Walker, seems to be making moves to have a bunch of white people on the court on both sides. And even funnier, the Sparks are making a play for Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham.
Really?
So on the Lakers, you're going to have Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and Cameron Brink. You think they're going to sell some tickets, sir?
I think so. Yep. And this is the LA Sparks you're talking about, not the Lakers. But who are the Lakers getting after they get rid of LeBron, or now that he's gone?
Well, they just picked up Walker Kessler from Utah, a 7'2" rim blocking German or something, and they picked up Robbie Avila, the big white Mexican kid who's known as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
What? Sorry.
And they call him like Mexican Jokic or something. So they got a white Mexican who's going to get the white guys and the Mexicans in, and they got a bunch of white dudes and Luka and Austin Reeves. I'm telling you, bro, I've never thought I'd say that Los Angeles was going to be where the NBA became a majority white team. It's freaking hilarious. It's hilarious to me. And it's because this Mark Walker guy is a showman. And he knows, dude. Do you know what kind of show they're going to put on when they have 3 hot chicks playing for the LA Sparks?
I would imagine. I mean, that's what you care the most about, is that the WNBA is finally going to have femininity in the sport.
Yes. I don't want to see a bunch of Keyshawn Johnsons running around with weaves. Jesus.
I've got to go. I'm done with you. I'm going to ask my question to my audience. You're out of here. God bless you, man.
Bye, man.
Bye. Why Mike, ladies and gentlemen, always making it weird. When we come back, for those of you who didn't get a chance to hear it because our audio was screwed up, Luke knows just what to do. And, of course, we'll see if we can chime in a little more of your phone call. Stand by. It's Reese on the radio.
It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
We're back. Reese on the radio. WTIC, we've got Peter Lumaj, who is the candidate for Secretary of State, in the studio. We'll be talking to him in a minute and spending some time with him, talking about his campaign, where he is so far. I know he's been knocking on doors, talking to people. What is it? What's the thing? Pounding the pavement and kissing the babies and shaking the hands and all that other good stuff, whatever it is they do out there. I know I ain't doing all that. People keep saying, Reese, you should run. I'm like, nope, I will walk. I ain't running for nothing. So we'll get into that in a little bit. I told you guys, that Luke Bronin is finally, I guess his team decided that after his meeting with me here on the air, why let an opportunity like this, go to waste? People in the African American community in the inner city were upset with his claim that he is not here to represent them. He is there to go to Washington and inflict his own will on Washington. And I said, oh, well, that's interesting. And he said, oh, you know what? I figured we'd share it in song. So Luke decided that he was going to put his new vision in a new R&B track called Luke Knows. What's good to you? Here it is. So you do the bidding of the people you represent, yes?
Oh, no, I think that people who are elected to office have a responsibility to do the right thing as they see it.
Wait a minute. What's the word representative in front of this title for?
Luke said, I hear you, Hartford. Then he looked right past the door. You said, take a little from us. He said, I know a little more. He wore that suit like armor, smiled like he had read your mind. You asked for what you wanted. He said, baby, I'll decide. He don't need a ballad chorus. He don't need your point of view. He got a suitcase full of answers and a one-man interview. Luke know what's good for you. Luke know just what to do. Luke know put your pride aside. Luke know he's the one who decides. Luke know what's good for you. What's good for you. Luke know just what to do. Just what to do. Luke know put your pride aside. Luke know he's the one who decides. Now he's talking Washington like he's already in the chair, saying I won't serve your wishes. I will go and work up there. I don't really represent what your interests say they are. That's a bold little sermon from the driver of the car. You said, Luke, that's kind of wild. He said, wild is why I'm here, like a boss in the boardroom with a smile and zero fear. You can raise your hand and holler, he'll just nod and keep it cool. He's got that private kind of wisdom that makes everybody a fool. Luke knows what's good for you, what's good for you. Luke knows just what to do, just what to do. Luke knows put your pride aside. Luke knows he's the one who decides.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The new smash single of Reese on the Radio Records and Tapes. Luke Knows. We'll make it available for everybody online. Don't worry, you'll be able to see it at ReeseOnTheRadio.com. So when we come back, we've got Peter Lumaj in the program. Second half of the show is coming momentarily, so stand by, go nowhere. We'll be back after we get some weather and traffic. And your Mark Christopher is back. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, sir. All right, second half, Reese on the Radio underway, and coming up in just a moment, that man sitting across from me, not only with a beautiful accent, a thick accent, but a beautiful American spirit, and even despite his thick accent, Luke Bronin, no ICE agents have been able to pick him up. For some odd reason, the way that this man's talked, you'd think that the ICE agents were sitting on his door. Say something, Peter Lumaj. The ICE agents are knocked the door.
Did you call them?
Yeah, no, I didn't call them.
Is this a setup? Am I going to be picked up because I speak with an accent?
Yes, because apparently, according to Luke Bronin, that's what the ICE agents are doing.
I heard the interview, and I think that is an insult to each and every one of us who speak with an accent. The majority of my family members speak with an accent. I speak with an accent. And look, none of us are being picked up because of our accent.
What?
As long as you are legal in the United States, no one is picking you up. And look, not to interrupt you, but...
But I don't want to keep you too long, because we're going to talk about this a little bit. Go ahead, real quick.
Yeah, but I deal with these issues every single day. None of my clients are being picked up because of their accent. They are being picked up because there is an order, which is pretty much called an I-20, which is a warrant to pick them up because they have a final order of removal or they have committed a crime in the United States.
I know, but the way that he put it was absolutely insane. Well, we'll talk about it.
Typical of that.
We'll be back. Peter Lumaj running for Secretary of State. We'll talk to him when we return. Mark Christopher's back. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. No accent, no ICE agent.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right. Holla, holla, pop your collar. We are back. Reese on the radio here with my friend and candidate for Secretary of State, Mr. Peter Lumaj, who I found out is my microwave brother. He's my microwave brother. Roseanne likes to tell a story about when we first got together. We were living in an apartment together, well, maybe in a house together, and I was warming up some coffee, and I put it in the microwave for 7 minutes. She loves telling people that story, but Peter Lumaj, running for Secretary of State, you warmed up some coffee for how long, sir?
5 minutes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Didn't work out very well.
Microwave brother.
My wife said, "Go and get in the kitchen." I said, "I didn't even know that we have a kitchen." So.
God bless you. So you running for Secretary of State, you don't have a do you have a primary opponent?
There's no primary.
No primary at all.
I'm the nominee. We raised the funds. We qualified for SEP, so we're in pretty good position.
Pretty
right
good
now.
position.
We're going straight to the general.
And there isn't a place where you won't go because I see you everywhere. I mean, every time I go someplace, you're right there. You know, giving a speech, campaign, stump speech, if you will, letting people know. I'm sure you're door knocking and things like that.
Look, I don't think we can take anything for granted. I mean, we have 169 towns and cities that we have to travel to. We're trying to touch base with everyone and then, as many people as we can. But voter turnout is going to be pretty much the bottom line here. Can we get people energized, and can we get them out to vote? Look, a lot of people may disagree in principle with the early voting, but listen, people have 2 weeks to get out and vote. Personally, in principle, I disagree with it, but that's the law, and Republicans are going to have to take advantage of it. We're going to have to, get them out to vote. I mean, when you look at the last, municipal elections that we had, not even, very small percentage of Republicans got out to vote. And if we don't get out, Republicans who stay home are going to elect Democrats.
That's right.
That is the way I look at it. So we're trying to identify voters who on the last 2 or 3 cycles didn't get out to vote. They may appear to be Republicans or independents, and we're trying to, knock on their doors, give them a phone call, have someone make a list of these voters who will be able to get them out to vote on election day or prior to the election day. So that's what we're doing pretty much, and that's why, I've been traveling all over the state, and it looks pretty good. I mean, the reception is great out there, so we're just gonna keep on pushing.
You want very much so to get an opportunity to face off with your Secretary of State opponent. You want to make that announcement here?
Oh, yeah, I would love to have that debate on your show. I mean, I wouldn't have any problems with that. If she agrees to it, we can come over here. You're a fair guy. I've been on your show. No one is setting anybody, up over here. I think that would be a great opportunity for her and I to, face each other and tell the voters why should they vote for me or the opposite. Why should they vote for her? And I think that's just fair to the voters that they should hear both of us having this debate. One of the most significant positions in our state, it is the Secretary of the State. Since 1959, if I'm not mistaken, this office has been held by the Democrats. And I think that we can hold them responsible for a number of voter fraud allegations and voter fraud issues that we've been facing in our state, because you cannot blame the Republicans when they are nowhere to be seen in this office. They are responsible for this. And I think that, if she and I were to hold that debate here on your show, I think that will serve the voters well, and I'm willing to do that.
You say that, we deal with a voter fraud issue in this state. The thing that I am noticing that's changing, and I know that you can attest to this, is that when I got here, I want to say, I started here in 2022, right? Yeah, about 2022. And when I started doing full time in 2024, it was often said in radio or in public that you had to be very testy. You had to kind of walk around on your tippy toes on the subject of voter fraud overall. But now it's become more prevalent. We've seen it, of course, and I will even attest that after the indictments and the court cases that involve Wanda Pataki down in Bridgeport, now people are saying you can't hide from it anymore. Yeah. And why is that becomes one of the things you've talked so much about, even though a lot of people say it's taboo?
Look, I mean, even the current Secretary of the State admitted to the fact that there is some voter fraud in our state. But when you have the Democrats accuse each other of voter fraud during the primaries, there is voter fraud. The only ones, if you go all the way back to Foster versus Finch in Bridgeport years ago, and you come all the way up to date, all the voter fraud allegations are during the primaries. They involve Democrats against Democrats or versus Democrats. So I always use this, that when they accuse each other that there is voter fraud and there are voter fraud issues and they're accusing each other of doing that, we as Republicans should look into it, as voters should look into it and see what the concerns are over here. Right. I mean, a few days ago that there was a court decision actually involving Enfield that you have that there was a concern as to whether one of the candidates for state rep actually qualified or not with the signatures, and there was a mistake made by, looks like, by the Secretary of the State that the other candidate didn't qualify. Another case was just referred actually for criminal prosecution involving another voter fraud allegation. So these are concerns that I think the voters have. It's not only us, the Republicans. It is, we're not trying to disenfranchise anyone in this case.
If anything, we want to make opportunities.
We just want to make sure that voter fraud, that no one cancels your vote, that no one cancels my vote. And we want to make sure that we make it hard for the Democrats to steal elections or commit voter fraud. We're not trying to disenfranchise anyone. When we say that that you should be able to provide an ID when you go to vote. You should be able to provide that you're an American citizen. You should be able to provide or prove that you live in our state. I mean, we're not asking for a lot over here. We're just asking for common sense things that will make voters comfortable to get out and vote and make sure that they believe that their vote is counted, because it should count. And the other thing is this: I believe that voter fraud should be a felony. Anyone who commits voter fraud should be prosecuted properly and to the fullest extent of the law. So I have no problems with that, because it is, as I said, one of the most significant offices in our state.
Correct.
Is the Secretary of the State. If your vote is canceled, if your vote doesn't count, nothing else counts.
Do you think that part of the reason why this debate is so significant is that I just watched a press conference with the Secretary of State and the governor signing a bill that pretty much gave license to what they call no excuse absentee ballot, which when I asked the question to the Secretary of State, what are the backstops? Like, what are the preventative measures that they are taking to keep this from ever being a fraudulent vote? And they didn't have an answer. Isn't that one of the reasons why we need to have this debate? Because she needs to explain why that bill was signed and what are the things that are protecting people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I said if she agrees to it, if she is amenable to it, we'll have this debate over here and let the callers call in. Let them challenge both of us on these issues. I mean, look, the first time I ever voted was in 1997 when I became an American citizen. And I was in New York City at that time, and I voted for Rudy Giuliani, who was running for mayor. Look, it is so significant that your vote and my vote, constitutionally speaking and traditionally speaking, and it counts for what it is. And, we're diluting the meaning of voting in our state when we do these things. We're diluting the meaning of being an American citizen and exercising the right to vote when, pretty much anyone can show up from another state on election day, drive to, let's say, Fairfield or whatever town, and register to vote on election day. Yet when you and I, if we decide to vote in a primary, we have to switch parties 90 days before the election, if I'm not the primary, if I'm not mistaken. Yet someone who comes from another state can vote on the election day. So we're going to have to be more judicious when it comes to exercising this right to vote and making sure that we get the results that the people want to get, that we're electing the representatives based on the merits and every vote is counting. So I think she should be held, her office should be held more responsible and questioned more about, the statements that they are making with regard to your vote and my vote being counted properly.
You said you paid attention to the interview I had on Tuesday with Luke Bronin.
I did.
And one of the things you wanted to express was that you felt that there was a degree of entitlement and arrogance in the idea that he is there to represent whatever he believes the people should have, as opposed to doing the will of the people. As Secretary of State, and I know you're going around talking to these people, but you've done this before. You've done this several times. And I sort of try to make that case with him. What is the issue that you are talking about? Because I know you do, and I know your style. When you talk to them, do you ask them what are the issues that are important to them that you should address, and what is the overall theme?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, what I observed during the interview was that Luke Ronan kept on repeating the fact that we are a democracy. First of all, I made a comment. I said, hold his feet to the fire, because we're not. We're a constitutional republic. Then he had the audacity of making a statement that he will not be representing the interest of the constituents to a certain extent. He felt that, the moment I go to Washington, if he goes to Washington, pretty much he's representing what he stands for instead of what the voters wanted him to represent. That is one thing that we hear constantly by the Democrats when they get elected. They ignore the constituents. So when I talk to the voters all over the state, we're asking them the question, how do you feel, let's say, and I'm not dealing with the economy in this case, but let's say establishing a business in our state. What prevents you from establishing a business? How difficult it is for you to get a license to run a business in our state? And we're trying to feel the frustration that the voters and the citizens in our state have when it comes to dealing with government officials. And we're trying to make that as easy as possible, because at the end, we are representing them. We're working on their behalf. They are paying our salary. One thing the Browns should realize that for the first time in human history, the relationship between the government and the governed changed with the United States of America, with the Constitution, where the elected officials are serving the people, not vice versa, that now people are, pretty much serving the elected officials. And I don't think they realize it sometimes. That's why they keep on repeating that we're a democracy, because they want you and I to believe that, hey, listen, 50 plus 1 decides what to do the 49% of the population who voted against me or against someone else. That is not true in the Republican form of government. The Republican form of government, the significance of it and the beauty of it is that even 99% of the people who may voted for someone cannot take the rights of this 1%, and this one person will be protected by the Constitution of the United States. So this is something that, as constitutionalists, we have to talk more and emphasize the fact that we have a Republican form of government and hold their feet to the fire anytime that they mention the word democracy. The founding fathers of this country wanted us to have a democracy. They had that debate in Philadelphia in 1776 and deeply, deeply disagreed with the fact of having a democracy in the United States. And that's how they established this form of government that we have today called the constitutional republic.
He said something, and I think this is worth noting, and this has sort of become the issue. He believes that, that he is elected to, espouse his values. Like, he's elected, he's going there, he's telling everybody, vote for me, and then I'll go up there and I'll tell you what my values are, and I'll present them to Washington. What I found was so, I'll say illuminating about that conversation is the fact that there were people who are on my Facebook page and other places who were kind of in agreement with him. It was a small number of them. But they kept using this argument that saying, well, you can't know. Even he made the argument, say you can't know what all of the people want. But I'm like, of course you can't. That's impossible. But that's not what I'm asking. His role, or that wasn't the question I was asking. His role is to, in essence, do the things that all of them can benefit from, not only a small few or this or that. How do you discern the overwhelming thing or theme of the constituents or the people you wish you represent?
Look, once you get into the office, you are not representing the Republicans or the Democrats. You're representing the entire population, if you will. Bronan should realize one thing that, again, I'll go back to the Constitution. One of the reasons why House members are elected every 2 years, the Founding Fathers wanted to make sure that the closest relationship between the citizens and the elected officials would remain the one in the House. Every 2 years, they wanted them to go back and connect with the base again, connect with the people again. Republican. And then they came up with the United States Senate, which is every 6 years because it's more, it's a different chamber of analyzing things. So he's going to have to realize that the reason why they wanted him or someone in the House to go back to connect to the population was to get the feel, what the people want, what your district want, what the population is going through, and analyze that and represent and express those concerns when you go to Washington. So when I'm running, when I'm, talking to the people, I'm not asking them, vote for me, and as a Republican, if I get into that office, I'll represent your specific interests.
Right.
No, it's going to be the entire population, the entire state. And the moment you're elected, and you get into that position, you put aside the political persuasions, if you will.
Yeah.
Of course, you're going to fight for your principles. No question about it. I would never negotiate my principles. But on the other hand, you don't go over there representing a partial or the segment of the population that voted for you and disregard the rest of the population. So I think this is where the Democrats, and especially the left wing of the Democrat Party, is falling short, because people are realizing that they are representing a very small segment of the population of their interests instead of the entire district that they represent.
Yeah, indeed. Peter Lumaj, go to peterlumaj.com. That is, make sure I'm spelling it right.
Sure.
It's right there. L-A-M-A-J.
L-U-M-A-J. Man,
I did that wrong?
The last time you told me I'm Armenian. Now I'm L-A-M-A-J. What is that?
You know what? This is the reason why I'm the worst person. You know what Roseanne called me? Roseanne called me the Starbucks of radio hosts because it's L-U-M-A-J. I cannot believe that I did that wrong again.
We're human beings, okay? Look,
that is the worst. No, that's absolutely unforgivable.
It's very Anglo-Saxon. L-U-M-A-J. Come on.
Lumaj. Peter Lumaj. Thank you as always, sir. I appreciate you.
Appreciate
and keep us posted, okay?
We'll do so.
You got it.
Thank you.
Mark Christopher's back. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
I just wanted to make sure I showed this guy some love, so he's sitting here right now. Give it up for Hartford, or West Hartford's own Mark Walsh from Walsh Reports. He came by real quick to drop off a couple of gifts. It's funny because I don't have enough red hats. I don't. I need to get some. So no. Thank you for bringing it.
I had to find a large, that's for sure.
So you're working on a lot of stuff. I was just bigging you up a little while ago, saying that you have been out there on the grind, getting a lot of this stuff. You were out of commission for a little while after the concussion. It is so good to have you back because the stuff that you're getting, the stuff we're getting, has been over the moon, man.
We can't use the words that we said to each other yesterday, but in essence, we went like, what is happening?
Yeah.
I mean, yesterday alone, I've never been to City Hall for an internal audit commission meeting.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what I was walking into. And then to befriend like somebody very important.
Yeah.
I know him. I mean, I know of him, don't know him, but we got attorney Bruce Rubenstein.
Yeah.
This guy is a beast. I know that. I know he's well respected by legitimate reporters, citizen reporters, just everybody in town. And he came up to me, and I'm thinking, like, he just saw me sitting there by myself because it was only NBC. And then it all tied into this whole Carmen Sierra.
Yeah.
And, he kind of knows what's going on more than probably anybody. And then later on, I'm listening to Jendayi. It's just, so much going on in all these decades. So for me, and I already say, and I'm not trying to blow smoke up your butt, I really can't even tell you that this never existed. You made a mistake last week. You said, people haven't heard radio like this for a long time. We've never heard radio like this. Nobody. If somebody could produce one thing, like, I just left Senator Henry Martin's office. If somebody told me 2 years ago, one day you're going to sit in an office and you're going to talk about proposing a bill, Rob Sampson, who I've always called out here and there, now we've straightened things out. He's on the Zoom meeting. I'm going like, wow, I can't believe I'm sitting here and we're talking about creating a law to protect kids. I've had a lot of stuff just happen in West Hartford, over the past few years, and I'm going, what is going on? Like, I'm sitting here talking about creating a law and I know nothing about it. I didn't watch that PBS special for kids, how law with the song and all that. I saw it. I didn't pay attention to it. So I don't know how law.
But now you're in the middle of it. You're kind of in the mix. It's wild, right?
It's unbelievable. And I just came by to give you that shirt and just tell you, hey, I met with him. You're throwing me here. But I got to tell you, hats off to Rob Sampson, Henry Martin. We're going to do our best to make some changes. But it's one thing to just – I never wanted to be just complaining because, that's easy to do. And rightfully so for people who can't do anything but complain. I'm not saying don't do it because as long as, I'm trying to learn something. But to get stuff done –
yeah. I got to go to traffic and weather, but thank you for that, brother. I swear. Thank you so much. Mark Walsh from Mark Walsh Reports and Mark from West Hartford. Make sure you follow him. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher is back. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio. And now sitting across from me is my wife. Roseanne on the radio is here. Again. Did you get all of this stuff done that you needed to get done?
Nope.
Really?
Nope.
What had you? I know you went to the gym because you're dressed all gymmed out.
Yes.
In your yoga pants, looking all cute. What did you? What were you doing? Were you trying to?
I wanted to, do the dishes, fold some laundry, but
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Domestic stuff.
Yeah.
Didn't get a chance to.
Not that I really enjoyed doing it, and I was a little bit relieved to get the phone call that I got today because it took me out of having to be responsible. Just family stuff back in Texas.
Oh, right. On Cindy and all that nonsense. Okay. Yeah. So a caller said that they want you to do an investigation.
Okay.
I'll let you know what it is. We'll go back and I'll let you go back and listen in the 3 o'clock hour what they want you to look into. Because they trust your journalism, so I know, and your research. So I'll let you know all about that and see if we can get you to either give some details on it. If not by tomorrow, we'll get something by tomorrow. And I think what they're trying to find out is how much money the state is spending on things like, I want to say, did he say methadone was one of them, Roland? I feel like that was one of them. How much they're spending on methadone treatment or methadone medication, as well as apparently the state is spending upwards of $25,000 on dental work
for addicts.
For addicts, yeah. So
you know what? I'm an addict. I need dental work. Who do I talk to?
So. He had asked for that, so I was just like, okay, well, you know what? I will definitely give it to Roseanne and see if she can find something. But I will play the audio for you later on and find exactly what he said. There a bunch of things happened, but I told him I would give that to you. So I'm keep my promises and I'm getting it to you. We're going to have Jendayi on the program, so you're
Part
here.
two.
You're here specifically to hear the tea on that. You're such a gossip, aren't you?
I mean, consider my line of work.
Really? What's that mean?
That means give me the details. Give me the tea. I want to know. And, what I think is appropriate to disseminate, I will. And, other things that are probably more private, just stay private. I like knowing things. That's why I enjoy research. That's why I enjoy documentaries. And, I want to know. I like knowing.
No, that makes sense.
Even if I don't tell anybody, I know.
Did we talk about this at all, about this story? I think it was only briefly this morning we talked about it.
What story?
Connecticut Insider has this headline. At least 28 Connecticut children with DCF case histories have died since 2025. Now, I wasn't certain on this headline whether or not the story was going to span a calendar year within 2025 to 2026. In other words, would it be July to July? Well, it turns out that this is looking at the past 18 months.
And these are children in DHS custody?
Children who, not in custody, but have open cases with DCF. And we looked at the numbers, and it turns out that this would be a rate of one child every 20 days within that span.
So we're talking, 19 months?
Yeah, 20 months.
20 months.
No, actually, no. 18 months. 18 months, we're looking at overall, the count on this is 18 months. So it's 18 months. We're looking at 28 kids who have died. That puts it at a rate of one child every 20 months. So with that number, if you were counting it by month, it'd be 1.52. But it's one child every 20 days. Now, two things come to mind when I hear this story. One, why would anybody want to expand the reach of DCF? And that as it pertains to homeschooling.
That'd be like giving more dogs to Michael Vick. Wouldn't it? That's the right guy, right? Yeah. But he just loves dogs so much. He cares about them so much. He needs more dogs.
What the hell is wrong with
Tell me I'm wrong.
I know, but people were just citing you for your analogies, and today you come up with absolutely one out of the pie. I was just thinking, what the hell? Yes, that's right. It would be like giving more dogs to Michael.
Look, stray dogs from, California wildfires. You know who needs a dog? Michael Vick.
He's recovered and,
Yeah. DCF.
He's reformed
that's
or
great.
whatever.
DCF is the Michael Vick circa whatever year that was, right? Is there hope for DCF rehabilitating? I mean, there's the possibility. There's the hope and aspiration, probability and likelihood. I think DCF needs to be disbanded and, something else needs to be done.
But you know what? I didn't even have to set you up for that. That is such a beautiful point.
Well, if we're going to abolish ICE and abolish prisons, why not abolish the system that's murdering?
I got to applaud you. That's, again, the reason why I brought it up. Right? Because, look, I'm not going to lie. Not that there is a totem pole of oppression or, victimhood. But we know that the left operates that way, right?
Right.
And one of the things that they say is like, these are vulnerable people, right?
Right.
But think about it. Overwhelming number of the people who are in DCF care, we use that term loosely because they're not living with DCF. They're being monitored by DCF. They have cases out of DCF, are minority communities, overwhelmingly. They hate the fact that that's the case, but it is. And with that, we know that many of these children are dying with open cases with DCF. So, if we are concerned about recent shootings and apprehensions of people who have accents, talking about Luke Broden, why wouldn't we show the same concern for children, young children, who are dying, who have open cases? I mean, I would abolish any organization that would, we're talking about some of these kids have committed suicide.
Wow.
There was a report that suggested one of the children that committed suicide had told a DCF worker hours before they took their own life to please get them out of the home.
Right. I'm actually going to take this in a different angle.
Go.
Because a majority of the children in DCF care, 57%.
Mm-hmm.
We'll add in the multi-race because usually that's the same. So 63% of these children are black or Hispanic.
Okay.
Where's Corey Betts?
Whoa.
Where's, what's his name, extra large? Scott extra large. Where are they at? This is your demographic, sir. Where are you? You have black and brown babies dying at a government agency's hand. Where are you?
That's an interesting point because remember, the folks here, Scott Extra Large and Corey Betts, had a lot to say about a fugitive who had ran out into the woods, got lost, and died.
Oh, that kid?
Yeah, remember they wanted to make a capital case out of that.
Right, because the kid fleeing law enforcement in the dead of winter got lost in the woods in the middle of the night and froze to death.
Right.
That's not law enforcement's fault. That
Right.
is called free will and decision-making, Sweet Pea.
Yeah.
These children have no voice. They have no one advocating for them. The people that are supposed to be advocating for them are leaving them in dangerous situations. Corey Betts, Scott Extra Large, where are you for these black and brown babies? Where are you?
So
You cannot tell me another bleeping word about NAACP or NG, whatever your stupid acronyms are. You cannot say anything to me if you're not willing to protect the most vulnerable in the black and brown community. Shut up.
Sean is in Meriden. How we doing?
Good. I haven't talked to you guys in a while, and ironically, this topic is something that's very personal.
I know it is. How are you doing, sir? What do you got?
I'm doing good. Part of what you want to take a look at is how many families were referred to family preservation programs.
Yes.
Because the program I was involved with for 21 years was actually came into existence because of stuff like this over 30 years ago. And they started the program because it was more intense. It was DCF referred, but we then went into the home. And when I first started, it was 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, unless you're on vacation.
Damn.
Okay? And we didn't get paid. We got paid salary. And it then morphed into 4 weeks. 4 weeks morphed into 3 months. And then we helped the families figure out, like, how to establish a week and how to have a family structure and stuff like that based on their community.
Talk to me a little bit about that, Sean, because I know you've discussed this before, but it's been so long since we have. I think it's worth revisiting. When you say your organization or the organization you were part of, what you were trying to do, and I say this, although it's crude, it's real. You are domesticating this family, yes?
Yes, because you're helping them understand there's a civil way of doing things in every community, and you need to adjust. And if you came, like one family I worked with came from Somalia, and he, according to his laws in his country, said family is property and my wife's property, and he tried to drown his son.
Ah! Sorry.
And I helped, and then she fought him off. God bless her, she did. She broke the rules. She fought him off, saved her son's life, and then we helped her get secured in a domestic violence situation away from him, and they had no access any further. But the goal of family preservation was to come in, reduce the risk within at least a week's time, reduce the risk dramatically, and bring in resources to the family to help them address the specific reasons for abuse and neglect.
Right. So those are the things, and what you're doing is you're teaching them these things, and it is, what you said the process is it 24 hours for the 7 days?
Well, we went in within a 96-hour hold. We went in within the first 96 hours, and we were introduced to a family on the first report of abuse and neglect. Within if they were going to put a 96-hour hold and then pull the child, we were in that home within that 96 hours.
And you were the referral of DCF, right?
Correct. But we reported to them, and I got in a lot of trouble for doing the right thing in the community for the family, not doing the thing that DCF said to do.
Roseanne had a question. Go ahead, hon.
I'm sorry. You said you had 1 week to significantly reduce the risk?
And we had one. Well, within 24 hours we were in the home. Then we had within about a week to identify resources and reduce the risk, like identify names, people, and within a week we had to report to DCF, and we had to do a presentation of what we did, when we did it, how many times we visited the family, what times we visited the families, what telephone calls we made, where we traveled, the whole shebang.
And this was all in the process of, in these reports, if you will, or it's an ongoing process. So every day you're like, we've contacted the family, you report. We have resources for the family to move out of the home, to get out of the domestic violence situation, you report. You get them into this home, you secure a job for them. Whatever the thing is you have to do, you report as every event.
Every stinking thing I did was recorded. My mileage down to the 10th of a mile.
Wow.
Okay, and I love the job. I mean, I love the job because it was about changing the dynamic. Yeah. And I came from working with families in a residential facility, but they weren't bringing the families to rehabilitate them. They were just dealing with the kids. When I left that job, family preservation opened up that month.
Wow.
And then I did it for 21 years, and I had. This is my director said this, and he can hear this, and I hope he does hear this, because he would never talk to me officially, but he would always talk to me like in clandestine things like the restroom and say, you know, we really appreciate all the work you're doing. But in a meeting, because I was the rebel, and I was older. I was an older social worker. I was like 40 years old doing stuff with, 21-year-olds and stuff like that. And so I'm like, no, the dynamic is the domestic violence, and she doesn't speak English. So guess what? You can talk to her 7 ways to Sunday. She doesn't understand what you're saying. You need a translator. We would identify like all those variables and then have to bring them in and then have the family work with them and have DCF have all the contact information of all the people we worked with.
Sean, I gotta end it there, man. But thank you so much for that whole breakdown, and your experience.
When she looks at the last point for me, when she looks at the situation, see how many of the families with these things had family preservation prior to them. I bet you 10 to 1, not one of them did.
Wow. Thank you, Sean. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, buddy.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Again.
You got it. Mark is back. He has got your weather and traffic. He is in a BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. I can't remember which one it is now. Hey, Mark.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Oh, now I'm dragging my behind on this one. Reese on the radio. We are back, and I would normally do what we're supposed to do. And that, of course, is the music news. But I don't know if you've heard this, but it turns out we can't do anything in this building because we don't have a printer, which is really, really making me upset. I don't want to yell at anybody, but now I got to read everything off the computer, which is like, who wants to do that? I want to have the paper sitting in front of me. So I will, if you bear with me, I'll do music news like this. News. Happy birthday goes to Luke Hemmings. He is apparently from some group called 5 Seconds of Summer. I know one song, maybe two songs by them. James Maslow turns 36. Don't know him. He's too young for me to care. WizKid is 36. Again, too young for me to care. TJ Jackson, apparently a member of a Jackson from a Jackson family. I'm sure it's not Tito, but he is 48. Stuart Copeland of the group Police. I know them. He's 74. On this day in music in 1968, Eric Clapton, Jack Bruce, and Ginger Baker formed the supergroup known as Cream in London. In 2000, that is really not a long time ago, Coldplay scored their first UK #1 album with Parachutes, their debut, Parachutes. I do remember that album. I actually kind of like that. In 2007, the White Stripes played what is recognized as the shortest live gig ever. That's right. Shortest live gig ever. It was just one note and a cymbal crash during a Canadian tour stop in Newfoundland. In 1959, the Coasters recorded Poison Ivy at Atlantic Studios in New York. And last but not least, in 1973, a group I know Mark from West Hartford knows, likes, and has played, 1973, Grand Funk Railroad released their hit single, We're an American Band, the rock anthem celebrating life on the road. Mark Christopher is back. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. I know you know this band. Grand Funk Railroad? Mark? There it is. You know, he was looking it up. Yeah, the lyrics couldn't get more simple, dude.
Great band, though.
It's like, we're coming to your town. We'll help you party down. Yes, we're an American band. Yes.
What else did they do?
Some Kind of Wonderful. Great song.
From politics to news to music to movies and anything above the sun and outer space and beyond, it's Reese on the radio. Damn, he's good. Only on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, back and live right here. Let me turn that down. Goodness gracious, I don't put everybody's microphone up and everything. Hanging out with us again for a second part of her... what can we call it? I think the most important, her tea party, because she's giving whole tea. Jendayi Scott is in the house from Angels of Edgewood. Don't forget to check her out at angelofedgewood.org. What's that? Mark's comment? Oh, Mark from West Hartford texted. He said, we don't have a printer in the building, but do we have a shredder? I don't know if we do.
He's so petty.
Yeah, he is very petty. Look, God bless him, though. So the last time you were here, and I was telling everyone that you kind of really, really broke some news, some inside baseball that took place behind the scenes in this very, very statewide story as it pertains to the woman's name is Cicero, right? Is that her name? Sansaray. Mm-hmm. And Doug McCrory, Senator Doug McCrory. And the issue here is that Blue Hills, what was the full name?
Blue Hills Civic Association, BHCA.
Exactly. Blue Hills Civics Association had to be shut down as a result of what the FBI and many others are calling mishandling of state funds and federal money as well.
Misappropriation, because a lot of state funds come from the Fed.
Exactly. So this money, and what made part of this the issue was that the money that was going to Blue Hills, that there was some money that was going to different, organizations, but routing numbers. Yes, thank you, sweetheart.
Yep.
Through different routing numbers.
Correct.
And there was really vague details associated with this money that was going to other routing numbers. But they were talking about numbers as high as $300,000 to $500,000. You came in yesterday to describe a little story that involved you personally, and that was you, as you stated, you go around begging for money because you are a nonprofit and you're helping your community, and that's what you do. You need this, this funding from the state and sometimes federal, and you need to speak to elected officials to get that money to you.
Yes.
And in this particular case, a man that you had never associated with, you had no real good relationship with, right. Doug McCrory, says, hey, how much money you need? You explain to him that it's in upwards of $10,000.
Correct.
In that conversation,
for a security deposit.
For a security deposit, right, for a place that you needed to be able to cook and work.
Yes.
Because the renovations on your actual facility were underway or about to be underway.
Correct.
So in doing so, he volunteers that he is going to get you that money. Says go down to his office. You don't know where his office is because you don't F with him, as they say.
Right.
You don't play with him like that. And so you finally get to his office, and he calls Blue Hills, and you stated here on the show was that he directed the people at Blue Hills to take the money that was already given to them, because they're a nonprofit, to then wire that money to you.
Correct.
Which then led ultimately to an FBI interaction with you in a hospital. Your daughter's there, and I would call it a routine day if not for you visiting your daughter at the hospital. But the FBI comes there to talk to you. Why? Because, of course, this money, as they see it, is weirdly being misappropriated into your routing number.
Right.
And this investigation was going on very early before we ever heard word of it.
Yes.
In fact, something like a year and a half before it ever became public.
Correct. Before it became public last April.
Okay. We're up to speed now with finally this money is, where are we now?
So the first thing, before I get to where we are.
Yeah, because I'm sure I missed some stuff.
No. You didn't miss anything. But what I want to put out there to the public, right, is because I have people who, still support them, and that's totally their opinion, their decision.
Right.
But anything that I'm saying today and that I've said yesterday, this isn't anything new. The problem is our community does not read. And this story has been placed in the deep details in Connecticut Mirror and partially in Fox, right? So I even went as far as giving them our bank statement to publish it publicly. But, no one has time for the truth.
Right.
And so, some folks were upset because I'm speaking out, and that's their right. But what I am going to do is I'm going to always protect the only thing that I have left, which is my reputation. That's the only thing I have left after this scandal. And so I get people are like, that's our guy. He's black. They're setting him up, all these different things, and I just hate when they throw color into it, because let me tell you the position that I am. Not only is my organization struggling, our lights have been shut off. We don't have anything. Let me tell you, I literally had to email a document to someone today and ask them if they could put it on a Word document and send it to someone. We have been stripped down to nothing because of this investigation and the stop of the money since December of 2024. So because you choose to continuously support this person, don't get to tell me the story I tell.
They hurt your business. I mean, not your business, they hurt your charity.
Right. But at the same time, they don't understand that loans aren't given to just any EIN. Somebody has to back it. Right. So now this is my credit.
Right.
All of these things that are being hurt. We had so many excellent banking relationships. Our bank funded Angel of Edgewood for things that they never fund for nonprofits. And so they can say, whatever it is that they want. But one of the things where we left off yesterday when I talked about the $10,000 in the account, and this is something that I learned by reading in the paper. I didn't even know this part, right? So it made sense as to why I was getting certain questions from the feds and the auditors who are doing the state audit. They asked me about a $30,000 amount. And I was like, no, where are you getting this from? Here I am thinking these are the same people exaggerating stuff again.
Right.
That's not what happened. So I go to a few of the newspapers and I pull up the information and I click on the hyperlinks, because that's the other thing our community don't know, right? So They argue all the time. It's always they're making it up because it's this color, that color, white people do it, everything. But it's just but the facts are there. But I'm just like, do you guys think they changed that part of the sentence and make it blue for decoration or whatever?
Right.
The evidence is there. So when they tell you this, you click there, the proof is there.
Right.
So I missed something that I'd never seen before a few months ago. I go in and I see this bank statement for Blue Hills from Webster Bank. And I found out on my own, still haven't dealt with this for a few years now, that now I know why they were asking me about $30,000. That initial deposit when he called and said, give your routing number, we're going to give you the $10,000. On my bank statement for Angel of Edgewood only showed $10,000. But on the Webster bank statement for Blue Hill Civic Association shows them sending me $30,000, but they said it was an accident and did a $20,000 chargeback. But that chargeback could not be traced. So here I am. Y'all asking me about $30. Ain't no $30. We got the big Prices Right check and did all this stuff in the media. What are you talking about $30,000? So when they did that quick chargeback, and this was the pattern, send this amount, say we entered it by accident, and bring the rest back in. But nobody knows what happened to the rest of the money. This person set up organizations that were credible and had excellent community relationships, because you had been doing all of this fraud and connecting with all these folks that are in cahoots with you, and you were allowed to funnel through. In the end, when the feds came in for all this stuff came in, it was like, oh, let's start giving money to this one, this one, this one, this one. So it's like when they say, did you get money back? Any kickbacks, this, that, and the other. It's like, why would I do this? Did I ask the angel for any money back? Did I ask so-and-so for any money back?
It's a public, it's nothing more than in court of public opinion sort of bloviating about, oh, look how good we are.
Yes. But it could not cover the millions that were actually stolen.
So if we're to take, and this is speculative, so I want to make sure, because again, you are just a byproduct of what the feds believe is a larger scandal, if we're getting this right.
Correct.
In essence.
And you're right.
So this is money coming from the state, be it federal, this money goes to Blue Hills, and then that is laundered elsewhere.
Correct.
And that's the speculation that the FBI has. In essence, what it is the crux of this investigation. And you have become a byproduct of that because they brought you in. So here's the deal. Well, everybody else is just saying, I ain't saying nothing. You're saying, well, look, the people I'm trying to help are now in jeopardy because I was dragged into this, because the only thing I was trying to do was to help them. You know, it's my job to go in and ask for this funding, and I get roped into a scandal, not of my own, doing.
Yeah.
And now every reputation that I built, that I worked so hard to build, is now on the outs.
Exactly. And when I went to other executive directors and other organizations, and I'm like, listen, we need to come together. We need to do X, Y, and Z. They act like I was a plague. No one wanted to be involved. No one wanted to touch me, support, speak out, nothing. Okay, that's cool. So let me tell you this part. We had our back to school event, right? This was after we got the $10,000. That was in July when we were able to use the money for the security system.
Right.
I just want you to know how deep this scandal went and what positions people were placed in.
I may have to hold you because we're literally at the break, a hard break. Do we have to? But stand by. I want to hear the rest of this when we come back from the break.
And when you break, everybody better come back because I need to tell them about this next deposit.
Okay. More on this when we return. Jendayi Scott from Angel of Edgewood, involved in his Doug McCrory scandal, will be back with us in a moment. Stand by. Mark Christopher's back as well. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app. Search WTIC News Talk 1080 and tap earlier today to get started.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio. Stand by. We're going to have more with Jendayi Scott of Angel of Edgewood. We're going to talk to her. She's going to fulfill that tease. Thank you for that, Laura. That was a great tease. She's going to tell us the more details about this scandal as it relates to the Blue Hills Civic Center, Doug McCrory, and her organization, Angel of Edgewood, and how she got ensnared in all of this. She'll break all that down. But it is now time for me to remind you to go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. Everything you can do there. You can recap the show there. You can send us a comment. We've got the Reese on the Radio records and tapes there, which, by the way, the new song Luke Knows is not been uploaded, but it will be there tonight. So you can download it and listen to it yourself. So you can have a copy to share with your friends. And if you can, pass it on over to Luke. I think he'll love the song. So remember to do that. WTIC.com as well. Download the Odyssey app so you never miss a moment of the show. Tomorrow on the program, we have, and I'm going to look at this because I have to look at my calendar before I do. I cannot believe I got Peter Lumaj's last name wrong. I'm such a knucklehead. We have Mike Grosso, who's going to be on the program tomorrow. He'll be here at 4 o'clock. Next week, I don't have anybody scheduled except for Richard Met, but I know that there are a lot of people who are going to be asking to be on the program. But so far, the week looks kind of empty with the exception of Wednesday. There was supposed to be a big interview that we're looking to do, but I don't have the details of that in front of me, so I will work on it. Oh, Jason Guadone, but that's 2 weeks from now, near the end of the month as we get closer to the primary. Now, you may have heard Peter Lumaj wants to have a debate with the Secretary of State. I always forget her name, Stephanie somebody. Thomas, is that her name? Thank you. Stephanie Thomas. She, I don't know whether or not she will. She should have a debate. And whoever wants to do it, I'm willing to do it. But if she wants to do it, I'm just saying that it is, the opportunity is here. She should take him up on it and not go running scared. I know some people, I haven't heard much about her campaign or seen her out on the campaign trail. She seems like a person who's a little, reclusive. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So anyway, I just want to get all that stuff out. Stand by. We continue our conversation with Jendayi Scott of Angel of Edgewood, and she will tell us the next exciting part of this story, the conclusion, if you will, of this exciting chapter in her life and where things are. Again, make sure you check her out at angelofedgewood.org. Mark Christopher is back, and we will get more of your traffic. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
I swear to God, Jendayi and I are sitting back here. I am so... You better listen to tomorrow's show. I'm burying people tomorrow. I'm burying people tomorrow. Oh, I told you. Oh, I am burying people tomorrow. You have no idea what's coming tomorrow. Something I've been talking about since I got here in 2022. Something I told you. You guys know this, and I've hated this business plan since the beginning, and now I've got so much dirt. I'm burying people tomorrow. It's so nice to have this come to fruition. By the way, before we get into the next part of this exciting saga, Mark from West Hartford delivered this to you. It is a Hartford Fire Department T-shirt. He wanted to make sure that I got this for you. So there you go. And that's a nice shirt, by the way. Mark, I want that shirt. He said gave it to you first, knowing I'm the T-shirt king around here.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay, so let's go. Where are we at this point? You said there were some things that you needed to get that were adding to this. This point, we are where?
Strange deposits.
Right.
So after I'd gotten that money and for the cameras, did the press conference. Now that was beginning of July into June.
Right.
Now we're
of 24, by the way.
Yes.
Okay.
Now we're fast forwarding to August, my annual back to school event, and so I hadn't heard from the senator or anyone. I'm just continuously doing what I do. So the day before is my busiest day, and I get this phone call, and it's a senator, and he tells me, hey, what's going on? I said, hey, Senator, how are you? And he said, what's this I hear about you don't have any school supplies for your back-to-school event? So I was like, in my head, I'm just like, huh? So he's like, what I tell you about asking all these people, blah, blah, blah. You need to come to me. I'll get you the money you need. But I was just like, well, who's telling you this? Because anybody that knows our organization and what we do at this big event, we're food insecurities. So I raise money, thousands of dollars, and we purchase through our USDA partner, Carbonella and DeSarbo out in Branford, shout out Maria, and we get tons and tons of produce for families to take with them. Now, there are school supplies there, but the vendors distribute them themselves. Nothing to do with Angel of Edgewood.
Right.
So he says someone from another organization is going to protect them. I'm not going to say, is going to give you a call. You got PayPal? Give her your PayPal. So I'm like, okay. So he hangs up. The person calls me. And she says, hey, just talk to Senator, what's your PayPal? And I said, can you tell me where y'all getting this information from? Who's telling you I need school supplies? Because everyone knows I don't do school supplies. So she said, I don't know. I just got a call from the senator this morning, told me send you some money, blah, blah, blah. So I said, you know what? Let me call you back. Let me just call you back. Let me get settled. And if you enter someone's phone number, if they don't give you their handle, your handle comes up. So I'm in the van with my daughter, and she's like, Ma, you got a notification. Somebody just sent you some money. It was $2,500. So I'm like, what? I was like, no. So now at this point, right, I'd already been dealing with the federal agents for several months, and I kept my word that I'm going to keep you abreast of any and everything that happened, because, like, I'm not going to be acting like I'm in cahoots with this person. So I did reach out, and I said, I got this deposit that I didn't ask for. What do you want me to do? So they asked for the information again. Click on this, transit numbers, whatever, and that's what I sent. Fast forward, so I told my daughter, I'm like, listen, call Maria and them, increase that produce delivery for tomorrow by $2,500. So that night, it was about 10 of 8. We were in Party City on the Turnpike before they closed down. My daughter and I had about 8 carts of clearance and markdown stuff for the next day. And so someone else called me from the same organization, different person. And so she said, hey, how are you? I picked up the phone because I wanted to make sure she's okay. She's an older lady. And so I said, hey, is everything okay? And she said, yes. So I said, would you mind if I give you a call back? Because we're trying to check out and the store's closing. And she said, well, I just wanted to know what your PayPal handle was. I just got a call from Senator and someone told him you didn't have school supplies. Now we're going from 8 in the morning to 8 at night. And so I'm like, huh? I said, you know what? Give me a minute. Let me get the van loaded up and I'll give you a call back. I'll never forget. We get in the van, we leave almost an hour later and we're heading up Berlin Turnpike. And right when you get to Wendy's, it was on the right side, headed toward the highway. And my daughter says, Mom, another donation just came through for like $2,500. I said, oh, no. So at that point, I said, hold on. I said, I called my board members. One of them said, I said, this memo section, I told him what it said. I can't say it. I said, this memo section has these acronyms. I know what 2 of them are. I don't know what the third is. When he told me what the third is, he said, get that SHIT out of our account.
Wow.
I said, say less. After that, I want to say it was like almost 9:30. I called Agent Conklin. I said, I got another money transfer. You kidding me? So I sent him all the information, and that was that. I want to say maybe 2 days later, I got a call from a friend from another organization who said, hey, where are you? I said, I'm down on the avenue at the Y. He said, are you busy? I said, no. He said, I need you to come to my office right away. And so fast forward, the person who is also not liked by this same senator reached out to him and said, we got to stick together, blah, blah, blah. I need you to, I realize that we never helped you. I want to get back to your organization, blah, blah, blah. Do you have PayPal? I want to send you $300,000. And the person said, you are out of your mind. You're out of your mind. Absolutely not. And so it was like, toward the end, all these people that you don't like any of us, and you're going around trying to create these alibis like, hey, did I give this one money, that one? I didn't ask them for any kickbacks and things like that. And there's 2 major things that I have an issue with, right? One is that in the community where we are expected to accept this. From the time I started Angel of Edgewood, the city of Hartford has never helped me feed Hartford. I have been denied every single grant. I am the op, as they call it.
Yeah.
My application has been consistently denied. And I know everybody isn't perfect and people have their feelings about whatever. But the one thing that I cannot take away from Governor Lamont, Matt Ritter, Senator Blumenthal, and Senator Murphy is their belief in my work. And they've seen it firsthand. I am struggling like you would not believe. I've had people tell me, why don't you close down? Every day, every week, something different is getting cut off. And it's really sad because it's just like, now we're moving into these laws that they immediately put in place because of this, because the state got to protect themselves.
Sure.
And so I'm just like, now it's a reimbursement system. People like us, we don't have access to capital and all these different things. And like I said yesterday, it's going to lead to the gentrification of small organizations. But what hurts the most is the people that I have to turn away. I'm very open. My house was always the house people could come to before there was an Angel of Edgewood location. And so you have the audacity to still, in my opinion, run for office as an elected official because you can legally and do all of these things. And it's just like a slap in the face to me and some others. I'm not going to say the community, because there's a lot of people in the community that are still supporting them, but they also can't say why they're supporting them. But we have been conditioned for so long that skin folk is your kinfolk.
Yeah.
And this is what you're supposed to do.
It's it is a blind support, even with the scandal, if it were. And the excuse that's given is sort of like, oh, the white man does it. And I'm just like, I don't want to hear that nonsense.
That is.
Bad actors are bad actors no matter what. And you lack the integrity of any individual to say that we're now excusing said bad behavior because of skin color being in essence, the divider or the barometer.
Right. And I have dealt with and found out later on that, there was Doug and several others behind. There's a lot of things that went on behind the scenes with my organization that people didn't know about, from the health department shutting us down, constantly requesting crazy insurance policies, and so many different things that they did not require from anyone else or harass them. Even the donors, the restaurants who cooked and prepared meals, and small business owners, that's a lot for them.
Yeah.
So you have the health department come in and shut it down. But what was done to us is just truly it's awful. But there's no accountability. And so again, I there's much more to the story. But up until this point, I am grateful for the platform that you have given me to tell this, because it needs to be heard. Maybe it'll encourage someone else who is struggling between straddling the fence and being accepted. But the one thing about Jendayi is everywhere I got and everything I'm doing, it's on my own merit. So I may see someone else that looks like me. We might be in the same rooms and at the same tables, but how I got there is different. And that's what they don't like. So when I'm in these rooms and in these spaces and have these microphones in my face, this is why I can say what I want to say.
Right. You ain't bought by anybody.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, that's what people say that about me all the time. I know the feeling.
Yeah,
because people are like, you can say that, and I'm just like, yeah, because I'm not owned. I'm
we're not owned.
Self-made.
Yes.
And that's the way it's got to be done.
Yeah.
God, listen, all I can do is, one, you're right, get you a platform, tell people that they need to help you out, because you're struggling because you were dragged into something. All you were trying to do is to help your folks, and you do what you do. And the actions of another allegedly have now dragged you through the mud, and it's now hurting the people you're trying to support.
Right. And not your folks as in black folks.
No. The people you help. Yeah.
The entire community.
Yeah.
And it's hurtful, because I know the stories. I know the support that they have for me. But I just want to say this real quick. So I know I asked you, were you familiar with this song? You may not be, but several others of your listeners are familiar. So rapper Young Miami, she wrote this song that came out and is number one, and it's called it's the summer anthem,
right?
And it's called "Spin That." So it's a soundtrack that's on Keke Palmer's movie Boosters or something like that. So a lot of controversy or whatever, right? But I was inspired because there were people from around the country who were making different versions.
Yeah, parodies, if you will. Do you have one?
I do.
But do you have an actual recording of it?
I don't. I have the words. Did you pull up the
No,
the
I couldn't, because I can't. It's going to be difficult to be here because of the sound that's inside the studio. We've been having problems with the sound.
Okay,
all
it's
day.
okay, but I'm gonna say the lyrics. You may not know yet. We'll play it later for you, but your listeners are going to know. So, Young Miami, Spin That. So, my version is, where all my scamming politicians at? Spending that money fast, 20s, 50s, 100s, cash. All our grants are in their bag. Boosting officials, where y'all at? Cutting them budgets fast. Pensions, healthcare about to crash. Gotta pay their friends off fast. Spin that ish. Spin that ish. Spin that ish.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to record that, without a doubt. I think you're going to have to record that. It's turning pretty much into that. Corrupticut is...
when you deal with so much corruption while you're trying to help people that you're able to come up with bars and I ain't nobody's rapper.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just too easy.
It is.
All right. Well, listen. What you and Roseanne have become fast friends. We got to get you some help and get you some support, because who knows where you're going to have to go to get your reputation back after being dragged into this. Yeah. Everybody else's, dirty laundry is now pretty much gone into your bin.
I'm laughing now, but I spend a lot of nights at home crying. I don't get paid. We're 100% volunteer, and it's only the grace of God. Thank God. Me and my landlord, we have gone through it. We have a love-hate relationship, but he is truly the only reason that I am not homeless.
He was just texting you.
He was just texting me. He's like, oh, my God, I'm listening to you on the radio. Yes, Ace Andalib Enterprises. You can look us up. We've been in the news, but we turned our story around and became advocates for mending landlord-tenant relationships.
Well, help my girl out, darn it. Okay? All right, I got to get up out of here. Thank you so much, Jendayi. I appreciate you coming back today.
Thank you so much.
And trust me, we will have you back because we'll get more updates on this. Folks, as I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night, pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you back here at 2 p.m. This is a day. Oh, I'm going to bury so many people tomorrow. Mark Christopher, he is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Good night, sir.